This is what a smart Stage 1 2500 build actually looks like. Suspension first, power second, extras third. This is the smart order to do your new 2500 build. Choosing the right build order is very important. This smart Stage 1 is what you should do if you're wanting to do a multi-stage build and not have to pay for things twice further down the track. I'm Dean Bleasnart, the co-founder of Big Dog Builds. With well over 750 trucks now through the workshop, we thought we'd grab this Chevy 2500 build, get it on camera today. We're actually going to end this video with weighing the vehicle, seeing what the factory payload still has in it, if it's NB1, and what options you can have if you're stepping up to the NB2 National Heavy Vehicle category. Speaking of nationwide, if you're anywhere around the country and you're wanting to get a build in at Big Dog Builds, we can help get the vehicle into the workshop, get a full build done, either fly in, get a handover with the team. If it is a big build, I say stay local for a fair few days, get used to the vehicle, get back in for your 1000K checkup, and then drive that vehicle home again. If that's still too hard, we can help transport the vehicle back no matter where you live or pick it up from a local dealership. Now let's start with this brand new Chevy 2500. Hasn't had the dealer delivery done, but the team here have definitely delivered. Smart power solutions, ready for stage 2 or 3 down the track. Good suspension, good wheels and tires. This thing is built to tow for stage 1, and the options for stages down the track, well, as we know, they're pretty much limitless. Now, before thinking about front bar combos, roof racks, what you're gonna do in the rear end, every good build starts with good driving performance. What I mean by that is the suspension, the wheels, the tires, the airbags at the rear end, so you can safely put a caravan on the back and tow like there's nothing behind you. I've had a few calls today actually, people grabbing their new 2500s and actually getting quite worried because they can barely feel the van on the back. The feedback I do get is when you're out in those western roads, you do feel the vehicle porpoise quite a bit. And what that is the tow ball weight bouncing the vehicle around. They do bounce up and down a little bit, but with the power of these big Duramaxes, you barely feel 4.5 ton on the back end at all. With the suspension combinations, we've got multiple different options here. This one right here is what I think most people should be going with. 3-inch BDS suspension kit with a good 2.5 remote res shock setup. This one here, we've got the Fox 2.5 dual speed control shock, adjustability both low speed and high speed, and with the independent torsion front end of the Chevy 2500, this suspension setup here can be set anywhere from 1.5 inch up to 3-inch lift over factory. We normally set them around that 2.5 inch mark, seems to be the sweet spot. You clear 35-inch tires under there nicely. And if you're wanting to go a little bit of a wider offset, we've got the color-coded flares on this one here. We've got the kickback mud flaps. We've done a front bumper spacer kit, so we haven't had to do much trimming at all in here. And this 35, 12.5, 18 Nitto ridge grappler tire swings under here beautifully. It's wrapped on top of a 18x9 -12 KMC impact wheel. These KMC forged monoblock wheels, they look amazing, they perform well, nice and easy to clean. We've also added the Apex RPV valves to these ones as well. So airing down from 60 PSI down to 15, 20 PSI in a matter of seconds. If you're only gonna use those valves once, I think they're well worth putting in at the start of the build, trust me. So the front end suspension wheel and tire combination, obviously we've got multiple different wheels, multiple different tires, different suspension combinations, and the team will make sure that your build is dialed in exactly what will suit your needs. Once we get up the rear end, we'll talk about that in a minute, but 35-inch spare wheel is the largest you can get in a Chevy 2500. So unless you're going for a canopy setup, make do with a bigger tire that's not gonna fit in the spare wheel location. This suspension wheel and tire combination is definitely on point. Now let's open the bonnet, see what's under there. We'll get into how this build is set up for multiple stages and what's still to come down the track as well. So although this vehicle hasn't got a canopy setup, front bar with lights, roof rack with lights, we've gone and installed the new under-bonnet fuse panel setup and the power panel to the driver's side. What that means is this vehicle can come back into our workshop. It can get things like front bar combination, roof rack combination, The team have to simply take off the front fender on this side here, take out the inner guard, and they've got access to all the 12-volt needs to be able to plug in additional lighting outputs and anything that this customer requires for a stage 2 or 3 down the track. If this customer was to get a canopy, for example, on the rear end, we would tweak the suspension a little bit. Depending on where the vehicle's registered, we can turn it into the NB2 National Heavy category. We'll give it a GVM upgrade. We'll engineer the suspension kit, and this customer will have plenty of payload to go. The canopy company has also got somewhere to plug into the mega fuse holder, pull the power for the canopy DC-DC charger. They're not going to have to think about what they're doing in the engine bay to keep the wiring nice and neat. We've got that covered. With the power panel set up, you've got one big feed, and that comes over to this driver's side, and everything on this entire vehicle is powered from this side itself. In here at the moment, we've got the ignition fuses. We've got Air IQ, which is for the airbags, which we'll get into in a minute. We've got the electric side steps, individually fused. We've got red Anderson plug, grey Anderson plug. We've also got an Anderson plug in the tub, which we'll get into it when we get up the back there as well. And then we've also set this one up to have a DC-DC charger under the back seat with a future under-seat battery setup. Two other little things that we've got fused in here as well is the electric roller shutter and also the Air IQ second fuse. So blade fuse box at the back, little blade fuses at the front, and two big banks of mini fuse holders. If you're using all of this power, you've got your mega fuse holder on top of the factory battery over that side there. We could do additional outputs if needed as well. But this setup here, it's going to last you a lifetime, let's face it. Area-wise on this build here, like we said, it hasn't even been to the dealership to get the full dealer delivery completed just yet. We've gone and added green tape over the sills. Everything like the steering wheel, the seat covers are already still on this one. We have gone and installed the Switch Pro switching controller. That's above the rear view mirror. That allows, like we said, is it's already been professionally installed. Adding things like lights and everything down the track can be easily programmed. Whack some labels onto that Switch Pro there, and you're going to be good for a long time to come. Another thing that we have got inside the cab is the Air IQ remote control. Why do you need Air IQ remote control? We'll get into that in just a second. But what I did just notice is these electric side steps. So Real Truck XL electric side steps, those ones there look amazing. They perform really, really well, and they're by far the most popular electric side steps that we've got for the 2500 Chevy. You can keep your foot on it like I just did there, be able to then access and clean the roof, for example. Simply close the door, those steps are going to fold up. And the added benefit with the XL side steps, you've got that extra sill on the side as well. Not only do they drop down 120 mil lower than the factory side step with non-lifted truck, but they also have that extra sill on the side, which makes getting in and out nice and easy. You've got LED lights under there as well. When it is nice and dark, the little puddle lights under the mirrors, LED lights under the steps. If you're still stepping into a water puddle before jumping in the vehicle, it's probably your own fault. Factory fuel tank in this one here, it is quite empty because it is waiting for the dealership to tick all their boxes. But like we said, we are going to put this vehicle onto the weight scales, see what the vehicle tear weight comes in at, see what sort of payload we've got for the NB1 category, and then we'll talk about the NB2 options, and that's where you can get some real figures. We've got the electric tonneau cover on the back here. That's an EGR electric tonneau cover. If I hold my finger down on the unlock button, it's actually going to make a fool of me now, isn't it? Oh. 3 pushes. 3 unlocks equals tonneau cover open. So EGR electric tonneau cover on the back there. The cool thing with this one is it has got the T-slot rails down the sides as well. So we can add things like side rails. You can pop into a shop that sells a whole different bunch of roof rack items, and you could get some crossbars on that one there, pop a little platform on. Options are pretty much endless with the T-slots on the side there with what you can do. The electric tonneau, reverse operation, 3 pushes of the lock button, and that one's going to close as well. So we'll drop the tailgate down in this one here. We've got the factory suspension components being placed in the back of this one. Like we said, we've got the power setup going under the back seat. We've actually preempted for that one there, and we've got the Anderson plug output. We've got the red Anderson plug input for solar panel, and the dual USB-A, USB-C plugs in the back there, ready for power to go into that back seat as a stage 2. So thinking about that stage 2 is quite important. Pop up the electric tailgate there. It's going to sit nicely under that EGR tonneau cover. Nice and waterproof, these ones here. The back end of the vehicle, quite stock. We've got the color-coded flares, of course, on the sides with the kickback mud flap. They're going to protect a lot of the stones flicking up the back of the vehicle there. These nice Nitto tyres. Although they are that little bit chunkier tyre, It will also throw a few more stones in the factory setup, and those ones there are going to stop it hitting your caravan or other road users and stay nice and legal as well. But then at the rear end, quite simple, quite stock. We've got the 12-pin plug that comes standard, of course, from GM. We've got the 2 Schrader valves for the airbag helpers in the rear end there. So we've got the triple bellow airbag helpers, manual inflation tabs, then we've got the Air IQ remote there as well. So if you're wanting to inflate, deflate the back end of the vehicle, you can preset 7 different trailer settings on this remote. You can also go in, you can do this one from inside the cab. You've got the iPhone app, the Android app, you can do it all as well. So if you are around a few other vehicles that run the same thing, you can connect to the wrong vehicle. But once you're out on the road, these things here, super beneficial. We've then got our grey and red Anderson plug on this side here. Red Anderson plug, constant power to the under-bonnet battery, or to that fuse panel. Then the grey Anderson plug, which is ignition powered output. The reason why we put that on ignition is so the caravan DC-DC charger isn't going to be able to pull charge out of the grey Anderson plug. Red Anderson plug, some trailers don't need them, some trailers do to unlock the brakes. They've got ESC brake controllers or something like that in it. So we like doing this setup here in case it's not just about what your vehicle needs, but if you do need to help someone out on the road as well, you've got all options covered there. The dealer plate, of course, on the back of this one, being pre-rego, the team here finished this build. They've done a full QC, done the test drives, made sure it's all how it should be. Good wheel alignment after a good suspension is very, very important as well. And so is the good tyre fitting process as well. So every single wheel and tyre that comes through the workshop gets road force balanced. We've got some of the best equipment in the world at the back of the shed there to make sure that the wheels and tyres are balanced properly. A good wheel alignment goes a long way, and that's going to protect your new investment, because let's face it, these tyres, they're not getting any cheaper, trust me. So that's that. The essentials, stage 1 done, power panel under the bonnet, the Switch Pro inside the cab, pre-wired and ready for an under-seat battery setup. We've got the tonneau cover at the back end here. We've got the nice wheels and tyres and the flares to cover those ones. We've got one more thing, and that's to pop it on these weight scales, see what payload we've got for the NB1 category, and then we'll talk about what you can do if it's NB2. First go this time, Al. Oh, nailed it. All right, so factory GVM of 4495, 4495, takeaway 3860 is what this vehicle weighs right now. So in the NB1 category, with the suspension, the wheels, the tyres, side steps, electric tonneau cover, under-bonnet fuse panel setup, although these things don't weigh a lot individually, even the amount of cable that's in that under-bonnet fuse panel setup, there's a few kilos there. Run to the rear, pre-staged, ready for the under-seat battery combo, tonneau cover on the rear end, airbags, Air IQ's got a little compressor. All of these things add up, and this vehicle is sitting at, of course it turns off now. One other thing that this vehicle does have is that factory suspension in the rear end as well. So weighing in at 3860 kilos, take a good 20 kilos off. So just under 3850 kilos, you've got 635 to 650 kilos of payload. That's people, that's gear, that's ball weight of a van on the back, and that's gear inside the rear of the vehicle. At that 4495 NB1 category, like I've said in multiple videos, the HD truck you're going to still be limited like you would be in a 1500 and a lot of other vehicles out there on the road. Jumping up to the NB2 category though, we would have a 5,500 kilo GVM for this vehicle here because it hasn't got a canopy on the rear end. And once you do those figures there, you've got over 1,640 kilos left of payload to play with on top of how this vehicle sits right now. That's the category, in my opinion, that all HD trucks should be in. If you've got a family, if you've got a decent caravan or a decent boat, and you're wanting to stay compliant on the road in every single state around the country. Not allowed, open way. I broke it. Yeah. That's this Chevy 2500, built the right way for stage one. Just remember, every single addition to your vehicle, whether it be aftermarket, person, a dog, ball weight, it's all gonna add up pretty quickly. And if you're in the NB2 category, you're gonna have a whole lot more payload to play with compared to an NB1 car license 2500. If you like this video, guys, check these two out here. These two below, they're pretty cool as well.